Becoming the 1%. Now, that is the topic of today's video, and as you guys know, this is the final video of our boot camp. Before I say anything else, I want to let you guys know I'm very thankful for the support. Like I told you guys, the views would drop off, and I'm not mad about that. I'm simply pointing out the fact that people were going to give up, people were going to stop tuning in, people were going to stop wanting to get better, right? So if you guys were able to stick through it, watch all of the videos, doesn't have to be the entire video, but taking some form of education from those videos, because I personally believe that I've provided that, you are going to be making yourself better. You guys took action. You went ahead, you watched these videos. Hopefully you guys were able to apply some of the things that I showed you guys onto the charts. Maybe you guys even took a few good trades, okay? I want to congratulate you guys on that, tell you I'm proud of you, and I thank you guys for the support. Now, I have two more quick things before we do jump into the video here, and you guys are going to want to listen up to this because they're pretty juicy. Now, first of all, we are giving away another 50K Lucid Pro account in this video. There's going to be a code somewhere at some time in some spot. First person to find that code and use it is going to be the first and only person who gets that eval, so keep your eyes peeled. Now, secondly, we are coming out with our group coaching and one-on-one mentorships next Monday, March 9th. We are only going to open 10 spots, okay? This course and mentorship is going to have over 100 hours worth of education that has never been put on any social media platforms. It is completely private, and these are strategies that I do not even teach to our premium members. This is going to be our most exclusive program yet, and this is only for those people who are looking to take action, get better each and every single day, and those people that know that they are going to make trading work by any means possible. Now, if that sounds like you, please either DM me on Discord or shoot me an email at jake@thebullishbuzz.com. I'll throw that up right here. Now, that is all I have for you guys. Make sure you guys drop a like and subscribe as always, and let's go ahead and jump right into this video. Now, jumping into this episode, I do want to talk first about my trading journey. I think that this is most important to talk about because I think that the trading space has put out false hope and a false reality of what trading is and how hard it is. You know, you see those people when you open TikTok, you know, how much money they made, how big their Miami penthouse is, how fast their Lamborghini goes, etc. And while, yes, all of that stuff is cool, the issue that I have is more with how easy they make it look. And I fall into this too, right? I post our BuzzBot trades and I'm like, look how fucking easy this is. We bought this trade and it's up 10 minutes later because it is that easy, right? And I don't fault people for posting that kind of stuff. But it is unfortunate for those newer traders because then they get the idea of, wow, trading is really easy. I'm going to try out trading. Then when they get into trading, they realize very quickly that trading isn't this easy, right? So I want to talk to you guys about my trading journey because I think that a lot of people join up on our Discord or even see my videos maybe, and they might get that false sense of reality. You know, they see our 4,000 plus members. They see our BuzzBot hitting almost every single day. They see our member profits, our member reviews, testimonies, all of our wins, etc. And while that stuff is great again, there is still a process that goes into that. So I want to paint the process of how kind of we got to where we are, because if I didn't, make the mistakes, if I didn't have those failures, well, we wouldn't have this Discord. I wouldn't be making this video. I would probably still be working right now, and I wouldn't have made the profits or met the people that I've met or been able to make the profits for the people that I've made profits for over these past couple of years, right? So I want to talk about what that process was like because it was not smooth sailing. I'm going to get into it, but I lost $8,000 when I first started trading options. Straight up. $8,000. So to get into this here, I first started trading sophomore year. I had two teachers that were very influential. I was playing baseball and I only had to go to two classes a day. And I only had to go to these two classes a day because I basically had passed all of my classes by cheating. I had really good grades because I cheated. And so I got all of my work done, was able to pass all my classes and take even more classes so that I could get all of those out of the way and spend time doing whatever. At the time, I didn't know what whatever was, but I very quickly found out that it was stocks. I thought that stocks were very cool. I thought finance was pretty interesting. And I knew that if you knew something about money, you would know how to make money, right? So I really quickly got into finance, investing, and stocks. Started to learn about that, and I opened a custodial account late sophomore year. And I started trading penny stocks. And I traded penny stocks. In my first ever trade, I made $2.34. So I continued to trade these penny stocks all the way through the end of sophomore year into junior year, where I meet my first teacher, Coach Clausen, the absolute GOAT. This dude was the GOAT. Now, I hadn't fully bought into the idea of stock trading and all this kind of stuff, and I was still kind of, the class clown. I would get all my work done, and then I would get bored, okay? I have ADHD, and so I would kind of just do whatever. I would try and make people laugh or, disrupt the class or whatever. Stupid stuff. And so he sat me down one day, and he said, hey, man, like, what do you want? And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, what do you want in life? Like, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? Who do you want to be? And obviously, I didn't know what I wanted to be, who I wanted to be, what I wanted to do yet, because I'm a junior in high school, right? But I started to kind of take that into account and look for that answer, right? So I continued to learn with my stocks. I really got bought into it, and I was really interested on finance in general, stocks investing, etc. Penny stock trading had gone decent. I really wasn't making much money. I wasn't losing much money. I was pretty break even. Penny stocks, I was making $2. You can't really lose too much money if you're only making $2, right? So I come back and we continue to talk, right? And the more that I start to cause problems in his class, the more that instead of yelling at me and sending me to the principals, he starts to kind of coach me. And I was like really thrown off about this. And he's like, "What are you learning about with stocks?" And I was like, "Well, I'm learning about penny stocks." And he's like, "Oh, like that's pretty cool. What do you know?" So we just started to have conversations like that, and inevitably, I quickly realized that penny stocks was not the move. I quickly got into long-term trading, and so I started to talk to him about long terms. And funny enough, he bought Nvidia back in 2000, and he has been holding it ever since. He had he had a lot of money in his account. I'm not gonna try and out this guy, but he had a lot of money because of that. He was simply teaching because he had you know, a joy and a love to teach, right? And that was very inspiring to me because it was like, dude, you can go do whatever you want. Like you could live wherever you want, do whatever you want, never work again. Like he had a lot of money, and so we started to talk about that, and it really started to paint the picture of like it doesn't matter what you do as long as you love it, right? So I started to realize that I really did have a passion for stocks. I was learning every single day. I was continuing that learning, blah, 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 blah. Started to learn about the long terms like I was talking about. I started to get into dividend trading, quickly learned that I didn't have enough money to make dividends worth it. I'd make $4 every, couple of months from Apple stock or something like that. Excuse me. So I quickly realized that that wasn't the move. So I started getting options. I realized that you can basically multiply your money, or that was my understanding of it at the time. So I thought that, oh, option trading is going to be cool. It's going to be super easy. I'm going to get this done, blah, 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 blah. Started to learn about option trading. Very quickly realized that that is not how it works. I got into it very quickly. I lost $8,000 between the summer of my junior year and the beginning of my senior year. Thankfully, this all happened through summer, right? So I get back to school. People had known that I was trading, and they saw my MacBook where I had all the stock charts and was learning and all this kind of stuff. So they were like decently interested. And so I had some of my friends. They were like, "Hey man, like how's trading going?" And it was just that pit in my stomach. I was just like, I lost $8,000, but I can't tell you that because I'm too embarrassed. So I ended up going kind of back to the drawing board. And the start of my senior year, I had Coach Clausen again, and I also had this new teacher. His name was Coach Fowler, and he was a psychology teacher. Now, like I said, I had cheated on every single class that I had taken from COVID on. Like I literally couldn't tell you. I cannot do an any kind of algebra, anything with a letter in a math equation. I can't do it. I cannot do it. I can't do it. I can make 10 figures a month trading futures though. But anyways, so my point being is that I started to buy into the psychology class because I was talking to Coach Clausen. He asked me what classes I had. I told him that I had the psychology class. He obviously knew Coach Fowler, and he was like, okay. So I sat down with both of them, and I started to talk to both of them about trading, all this kind of stuff. And I told them that I lost all this money. And Coach Fowler was like, why? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going on. And he was like, okay, let's find the reason. So over the next couple of months throughout this course in his class, he started to help me with like kind of figuring out how I was feeling through these trades, what was actually going on, what was going wrong, and how I could understand how I was feeling, what I needed, how I could get better, all of those things, right? So I started to take those into account. I never cheated on that class once. I did everything to the books, what he asked exactly, and it translated to my trading. All of a sudden, I start learning about, what your mind is thinking through certain scenarios, how to get your mind to think certain things at certain times. And this class wasn't revolutionary. Like he wasn't teaching, like how to read someone's mind or anything, but he was teaching, the basics and how to kind of convince yourself to be happy, to be joyful, to do all these cool things, right? So I start to take that into account. I start to learn a little bit more, and I really start to dive into the psychology side of things. And I'm so insanely grateful for that because I think a lot of people go wrong with neglecting that, and I did too. That's why I lost the money, right? So I'm pairing my at-home learning for stocks, options, all that kind of stuff with my in-school learning of psychology, yada yada yada. We would have these kind of talks where I would come in for lunch and whatnot, and I would kind of just shoot the shit with them and just be like, yeah, like hey, things are starting to kind of turn around. Like things are going pretty well. And obviously they were very supportive of that, and I thank them for that dearly. And really what I'm getting at is the flip started to switch once I realized that it's possible if I can convince myself it's possible, right? The whole theory of really the game theory, right? It's a video game. Life is a video game. Okay, you got to pass these certain levels. You got to do these certain things, whatever those things are for you, right? You know, it's like GTA. You can go to the strip club, you can go to a shopping center, you can go, grow weed. You can do whatever you want in GTA, right? You can do whatever you want and you can play the game multiple different ways. Well, that's how life is. You can play the game multiple different ways. I'm not telling you to go, sell weed or do any of that kind of stuff, but you can do that at any point, at any time within your life, and everybody can do something different, and we all work in tandem, right? So I started to realize that. I started to take that into my trading, and my trading got a lot better, like I said. So I lost that $8,000, and between the start of my senior year and Christmas break, I made all of that $8,000 back, and I also made $6,000 on top of that to bring my account to $17,000. I'd put another $3,000 in, doubled that, and then some to get my $8,000 back. Then I turned that $8,000 into $14,000, or sorry, $17,000. And inevitably making $14,000 off of that 3,000. So a really, really good streak of trading there. And of course, there was bumps in the road there too. But after spring break, I came back, or sorry, after winter break, I came back and I really started to kind of get a little cocky. Started to tell people about, my trading. I really wasn't telling people about how good it was going, but I was telling them like, hey, like, I'm trading. Like it, it's serious now. So I had friends asking me about this kind of stuff, all this kind of stuff, and that was definitely a mistake. I kind of jumped the gun on that, and I started to realize that people were going to start to ask me questions about things that I didn't know or want help and all this kind of stuff. And I also got the other side of that; those people that were like, "Oh, this dude's a joke. Like he's trying to trade. Like what are we doing?" And those are the people that I started to target. Not target to be mean or anything like that, but to target because those were the people that were going to give me that motivation. Those people that said, "You can't do that. Watch me." That's how I've always been. If you're going to tell me I can't do something, I'm going to tell you, hey, watch me. And when I do this, you better be there on your hands and knees apologizing, or you better get the fuck out of my face, right? Because you weren't there supporting me at the bottom, so you're not going to be there with me at the top. All right. And this really is what I'm getting into as the point of you need to find that motivating factor for you, whether that is, say, retiring your parents or making money for yourself so you don't have to work a job or proving those people wrong that were making fun of you or whatever. And really, I took it to heart. Nobody was making fun of me. Nobody cared at the end of the day. Like the world's gonna keep spinning. Nobody cared. Okay, but for me, I took it personal because that was a way that I could find that motivation to continue to get better, to continue to focus on what I was trading, and I really shut up. I really, really did. I shut up and I went to work. And in that time, I was able to open another account, kind of split my profits up, and I put a lot of that money. I put $10,000 into long terms. I still have that account now, and then I had $7,000 that I wanted to continue to option trade and long term trade with. You guys know where that's at now. We have one account over $100,000, and we have another account over $85,000 that has hit $100,000, but with the recent market pullback is down a little bit. So that is really what my trading journey looked like from the start. Now, following that, we ended up starting the Discord after I graduated my senior year. When I did graduate, I started that Discord. And originally we were on Telegram. I didn't charge anything. It was really just for us to start to communicate. And I started to notice these similar problems that I was noticing within the traders that were joining up. A lot of these traders were newer, right? I wasn't charging anything. So we were honestly getting the most, basic brand new traders, right? And a lot of these traders are still with me now. Zach, Jorge, these dudes, the goats that have stayed with me this whole time. Okay, they've continued to learn with us. And funny enough, Cook Brady, who you guys know in the Discord, Carter Snipes, those were two of my first 10 members in the Discord, and they are now admin alerting in my chat. Okay, they are now to the point where they are profitable. Brady made over 150K last year trading. He says this on his stuff, so I don't want to out him here, but he made a lot of money trading. And I'm very proud of him. And I'm not trying to take credit, act like I taught him that kind of stuff, but we all collectively had a part of that process because we all had a very similar like-mindedness of we're going to get this done. I don't care what it takes, but we're going to stay here until we're able to figure this out. And that's really what we did. And so over the next couple of years, obviously we are where we are today. And at the beginning of this year, I noticed that I was starting to slip a little bit with my option trading. My option trading wasn't going the best. We were still doing really, really well, but it was starting to kind of dilute itself. I was starting to see those losses catch up to the wins, and I was honestly getting lazy. Okay, so I then pivoted to futures trading, right? I had realized that futures trading seems to have a much better risk to reward where you can put in $100 for an account, get access to 50K, and I would no longer be risking my personal money on things like options, right? So that's the route that I ended up going. And obviously, we are where we are today, right? I've been able to take over $10,000 in payouts in just 3 months after starting futures on January 1st till now, March 6th. I was able to take over $10,000 in payouts, and I have over another $10,000 waiting for payouts. Once again, I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that to prove a point of that process that I just explained to you guys of proving people wrong, of making those mistakes, of talking to people, of finding yourself, okay, are going to start to build the bricks that are going to build the house, right? And we've been building this house for 4 years now, and I'm very, very happy to say that because, when we had this Telegram with 10 members, I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I was like, oh, like these people are here because they want to, learn with me. They're like very interested and like-minded. So that was the coolest thing ever. And then we had 100 members, right? And then now we have 4,000. And of course, I'm still very grateful. I still feel the same way. I wake up every morning, I get in the live, I'm like, dude, we have 100 people in this live. 100 people care about what I have to say and really want to dive into what I'm going to get into. Everybody here, we have 2,500 subscribers, and I love every single one of you guys because I'm happy that you guys show up. I'm happy that you guys, believe in me and have the confidence that what I am providing is useful and all that kind of stuff. So that is the route that I ended up taking, and I'm very happy for that. Now, what I want to get into here is more based off of that. I hope that that was able to describe kind of the roller coaster, right? With trading, you are going to have those highs, you're going to have those lows, and those highs are going to be insanely high, and those lows are going to be insanely low. Okay. If you just stick to it and you convince yourself that there is zero way that you will lose, then that's the fact. If you tell yourself that there is no way that you're going to fail, there's no way that you're going to give up, there's no way that you're going to lose, that is the fact. Okay. If you tell yourself that and you're actually going to follow through with that, there is simply no way that you can fail. There's no way. Yes, you'll have failures along the way, but as long as you don't give up, you're not going to fail. Okay, you're going to keep going. You're going to keep getting better on all of these kind of things. So, what I want to get into here, I'm going to pop up a graphic here. This is showing 2024 Top Step trader statistics. Okay, so this is obviously before I started trading, but this is the last trading statistic that they've released. Obviously, these numbers are going to be much more inflated now, so we're going to kind of talk about this. So, at the start of 2024, Top Step had 100,000 traders. Okay. 12.4% of those traders were able to get funded. So that means that over 85,000 traders gave up. Okay. They either gave up or they still weren't there yet. And realistically, if we were to put these into 2026 numbers, Top Step has well over 250,000 traders. Okay, so if we were to do roughly about the same math, that means that we would have about 30,000 people passing their account, a little bit more. Okay. But the point here is that with this stat right here, 12% of traders fail. Hold on. I don't know why this thing likes to creep towards my nuts. But only 12% of traders pass and get funded. Only 3.5% of those traders get a payout. And only 0.1% of those traders get a funded or a live funded, right? And I'm still not there yet. I still have much more to go, but I'm telling you right now, I'm going to get there. Okay. I'm going to get there. I'm going to make this YouTube video about it when I do get there, and I'm going to show you guys, right? And I'm going to talk about the same thing, right? I am now part of the 0.1%. Right now, I'm part of the 3.5%, right? And that's still pretty damn cool because that means that I have now outlasted 96,400 and what? 81 people, or Jesus Christ, 91 people. I can't even do math. See, that's what I'm talking about. But my point that I'm getting at is you have to worry about staying in the game. You have to worry about continuing, no matter what that looks like or means, right? You have to worry about continuing. How long can I keep this going? How much can I how can I keep going? The answer is yes. You can keep going. The now question is, are you going to keep going? Are you going to give up on this dream that you have, right? Are you going to cut it short? Are you going to say that this was too hard or this is impossible, right? Well, it's not impossible because I'm doing it and I'm showing you, right? So I just want to point that out from the fact of there has been a lot of people that have tried and there's been a lot of people that have failed. There's also been a lot of people that have failed okay, and given up. And there's a lot of people who have failed and grown and succeeded, okay? And now with that, becoming the 1%, okay, or even the 0.1%, becoming the trader that can actually have all of those materialistic things. You know, I'm not someone who needs a Miami penthouse or a Lamborghini. That's not what I want. Okay. I want to have free time. Okay. I get to wake up now. I take my trade with my live members and I can go do whatever I want. After about 10:30 a.m., I've normally taken my trade, whether I've won or I lost. Now I'm done. I can go do whatever, right? I can go film these YouTube videos. I can go to the park. I can go swim. I can go ride my bike. I can go do whatever because I've given myself the opportunity to have that financial freedom and that time freedom of you're not telling me when I have to show up to trade or when I, can get off. I get to do that for myself because I've given myself that opportunity and I've taken the steps to be able to provide that for myself, okay? And once again, this is not something to brag, okay? This is to show you guys and motivate you guys to a point of it's possible if you do the right things, okay? And with that, what really is going to come from that is when it does start to click, okay? You're going to have all these issues, you're going to have all these problems, you're going to start to learn from these problems, and slowly it's going to start to get better, okay? It's kind of like a nice little equity curve of you start here, you fly up, and then you crash down. And then once you're down here, you slowly start that climb back, okay? And then you start to make that exponential growth curve up, right? That's seriously how it goes. You're going to hit rock bottom, and then you're going to start that slow climb up, and then you're probably going to hit rock bottom again, and then you're going to have that slow climb up, and inevitably you are eventually going to start that curve up, right? There's going to be highs and lows, just like a stock chart. Life is just like a stock chart, man. You're going to have these highs and lows. As long as you continue to make higher highs and higher lows, fuck, your life is in a bullish trend, baby. Your life is in a bullish trend. All right? And so that's what I really want to get at. If you do continue to essentially not give up, if you continue to not give up, you're going to make it in whatever it is, whether it's, trading or real estate or, because say trading isn't your thing. That's fine. Okay. There's a difference between giving up and saying, hey, this isn't for me. Okay. Now, hopefully you're not saying that after giving up. Hopefully you're saying that because you're like, I'm not really enjoying this. Right. Right. Because we all want to make sure that we're enjoying what we're doing. Okay. So make sure that whatever you are doing, whether it's real estate, you're, a fucking trader, you're doing whatever. Make sure that if you're passionate about it, that there is nothing that will get in your way to stop you from achieving whatever the goal is for that topic. Okay. My goals this year were to take over $10,000 in payouts, right? Let's go ahead and actually look at them. Always a nice little refresher, right? We made a whole video on them. And I actually need to update these. Let's go ahead and do this here. Get funded. Okay, we have 12 fundeds. We passed 12 accounts. Yes, we have blown I believe 4, so we have 8 fundeds right now. We have blown some fundeds, but we have gotten more than one funded. We've gotten 12. My goal was 1. Get a payout. On 1/21/26, we took a payout for $920. That's my first ever payout. That was 21 days into the year. 21 days into the year, I'd already taken my first payout and achieved goal number 2. After that, get 5 fundeds. Check. After that, get 3 payouts. Check. After that, get 1 payout on 5 different accounts. We have yet to do that. We have taken 4 total payouts so far, but I am eligible for that. Make 5K in a month from payouts. Check. And lastly, make 10K in a month from payouts. And technically that is a check, but we haven't taken 10K in payouts in 1 month. Okay, we still have our accounts with $10,000 worth of withdrawable money, but we haven't done that yet, so I'm not going to check that off. But that is what I'm saying. Like, right, we made these goals. I made a whole video about how I was going to achieve those goals, and now I'm showing you guys what that process is looking like as I continue to achieve these goals throughout the year. Yes, we still have a long way to go, and I still have more goals here, right? I want to make $20,000 a month now. I want to have a live account by the end of the year. I want to have max allocation on Top Step and max allocation on Lucid. I want to be able to copy trade with full confidence in my strategies, right? And I'm not there yet, right? As much as I do love my strategy, I'm very confident. I know that it works a great deal, or I know that it works a lot, right? I still don't have the confidence to trade 5 accounts on that because I'm not there yet, and I understand that. And I also do understand that I will get there if I do continue on the path that I am at now. If I do copy 2 accounts, then I slowly copy 3 accounts. Then I slowly copy 4 accounts. Then I slowly copy 5 accounts. Well, now I'm working my way up in an actual, order that is achievable. Okay. And that's the point. Make achievable goals. Don't say I'm trying to make $10 billion this year in trading. It's not going to happen, right? There is a fine line between achievable and then a stretch. You want to find those goals that are between that gap of achievable and a stretch, okay? The things that are going to be hard and the things that are going to feel impossible but are possible, right? For me, that is the live account, that is max allocation, that is 10K a month, okay? I didn't think that I would be this far, right? And I'm glad that things are going exceptionally well, much better than I expected. But I also know that there's going to be some more bumps in the road to come. I know I've blown multiple accounts. I have blown a buttload of evals already, right? I believe that I've already blown probably 20 accounts. I probably bought 35, 40 accounts, and I've probably blown 20, right? My pass rate on evals is probably just above 50%. Nothing crazy, okay? But I do know that with every eval failed, there's going to be an eval passed. And with every eval passed, there's going to be a funded that I blow, but there's also going to be a funded that I pass, okay? And I also know with that there's going to be a funded where I do blow that, and there's also going to be a funded where I do get a payout, right? So it's figuring out these things in those highs and lows. Like when I do blow an account, okay, that sucks, but I can look out and see I have other accounts. I have, a strategy that is going to reliably get me back to where I am right now. I can take the time to debrief, understand what happened, what went wrong, what I can do better, all of these kind of things, right? So I know that I'm completely rambling at this point, right? I've filmed this video 5 times. I've been sitting here since noon and it's 3:09. The video is supposed to be up right now, but I don't care. This video can go up. I want it to be as transparent as possible, and I hope that I was able to do that, man. I hope that I was able to show you guys what trading is actually like, because it wasn't easy for me, okay? I now get to sit here and act like it's easy because it is now, right? All this stuff does come easily now because I've taken the time to not give up. I've taken the time to learn from my failures and learn from those mistakes and get better at them. But I've also learned that with trading, you're not always going to be riding that high, you're not always going to be riding that low, and that's a great thing. That is a great thing. When you're at those lows, you know things are always going to get better. When you're at those highs, you know to soak it up, to understand that even though I'm doing everything correctly, even though if I continue to do everything correctly, I'm going to take some bad trades. There are going to be some trades that just follow that statistic where if I win 70%, well, that means that, excuse me, 30% of the time my trades are going to lose, whether I did the right thing or not. Okay? So that's what you have to realize, and that's what you really have to sit with yourself and think about and ask yourself, seriously, sit down and ask yourself what you want. Go and establish some goals for yourself. Go and find out how you can become that 1%, right? Go and figure out how you can become that person that didn't give up. Go and figure out how you can become that person that people are jealous of because they tried and they failed and they gave up, and then they're sitting there confused and saying, how the hell is this guy doing this? How is he possibly doing this? I failed and it didn't work for me. What's going on? Failure only happens when you give up, okay? You are only going to fail as in like completely you're done. You're failed, you're toast, there's no more. That is only going to happen when you give up. Okay? Now you're going to have those failures that are going to happen every day. I mean, you're going to have a failure that happens multiple times a week, right? Especially when you're starting out. But if you continue to be stubborn and don't give up, and you continue to work at it, and you continue to tell people that you are going to do it, and you continue to manifest, and you continue to tell yourself that you are a good trader and you are profitable and you are going to figure it out and you are all of these things that you want to be, well, soon you will turn into those. You will turn into those things that you want to be. Okay? You you have to imagine the life that you want to live, okay? Then you need to create a process on how you're going to get there and achieve those goals. And then you need to take action on those goals. It's really that easy. I mean, it really really is. Now, of course, that is a very vague statement. Like it's not that I want to be a millionaire, so I'm going to wake up a millionaire tomorrow. No, right? I want to be a millionaire, so I have to make more money. Yeah, no shit, right? No shit. Great. Cool. You're still at square one. I'm saying actually take this serious. Sit with yourself, think to yourself, and talk to yourself about what you want, who you want to be, how you're going to get there, right? And inevitably, if you can really stay on track, you're going to get there. I mean, once again, I know I'm rambling. I know I'm rambling, and I thank you guys for listening to this, fucking TED Talk podcast right now. But seriously, I'm very passionate about this. I'm very passionate about helping people get better and showing you what real trading is like because People don't do that. Like I said, we have a Discord of 4,000 plus members where I am posting plays every single day. Not every play that I post is going to hit. Okay. Not every trade that we take is going to be the best trade. It's not always going to go 110%, right? But over time, as we do continue to stick to our strategy and as we continue to adapt to the market, our strategies are going to grow with the market, our profits are going to grow with the market, and we're going to grow with the market. Okay. And if you're in the Discord, you're going to grow with me and I'm going to grow with you, and we're going to watch each other succeed, and we're going to cheer each other on, and we're going to be boys, and we're going to hang out, and we're going to do all the fun things that we want to do because we have now put ourselves in that position to do so, right? But you can't just join up and be a poser about it. You can't just say, it's like you can't pick up a skateboard and go to the X Games and expect to perform well. You can't open a Top Step account and not know anything about trading and expect to pass an eval and get funded and get a payout. There's levels to it. Okay. You first start and you first know nothing, right? You first learn your first thing. You first learn your second thing. Then you first buy your first eval. You fail your first eval. Buy your second eval. You probably fail that one. You buy your third eval. Probably fail that one. Buy your fourth, fifth, sixth eval, and you maybe pass that one. Then you probably fail the funded. Then you have to go back to square one. And it's very monotonous. It's very tedious. It sucks. It's not fun. I hate that part of trading, but it's part of it. I know multiple people who work jobs that they absolutely hate. And I'll tell you right now, you would much rather hate sitting at your desk and taking a bad trade on one day than hate sitting at your desk from 9 to 5 every single day, having no out, no way to figure anything out or get through it because you can't make that change, right? You can't change anything about your job. Okay? You can't make them pay you more money. You can't have them give you a new objective. Maybe you're fortunate enough, but realistically you can't. So that's really what I'm getting at. I'm completely rambling, and I really do apologize for that. But I want to make sure that I'm getting everything in here. So let's ramble for a few more minutes here before I do go ahead and end out this video. I really am thankful for you guys joining up on the boot camp, and I really want to make that known because I wouldn't be able to do all this for you guys. If you guys didn't chip in, help out. Like if you guys weren't asking these questions where I was able to help you, because literally that's probably one of the best ways that I've learned, honestly, is someone comes to me and they ask me a question. And I mean, we have, once again, 4,000 plus members in the Discord. I get asked questions all the time. I normally have hundreds of plus DMs a day. Well, when I reply to those DMs, there's going to be questions that I don't know, right? So what am I going to go do? Am I going to go give them the bullshit answer and tell them to go figure it out? No, I'm going to go learn myself and then help them learn, whether that's with me, okay, or I'm going to teach them what I may already know, right? Or help them find the resources to where they can go find that, right? And that's made me better, right? Because there's things that I don't know, and there's things that I still don't know, and there's things that I'm still going to learn, and there's things that members are going to bring to me that will help me get better and help them at the same time, right? So, man, I'm rambling, but I just like talking to you guys. Hopefully you guys got that eval code by now. But yeah, that's all I have here. I hope that you guys did enjoy the boot camp. I know that this was really not a structured video. I really know that this didn't have, it's probably a pretty lackluster video for our, into the boot camp. But I really do hope that you guys can think about that. Think about who you want to be as a person, and then think about who you want to be as a trader. And then sit down with yourself, establish some realistic goals, establish some goals that aren't realistic right now. Because I'll tell you right now, if you don't establish those unrealistic goals, you're never going to hit them. Okay. Last year, my goal for the Discord was to get 1,000 members. Last year, we finished with 3,400 members. If I would have set my goal only at 1,000 members, well, once I got there, I probably would have taken my foot off the gas and stopped. But I also had a goal to hit 5,000 members. And while we didn't hit that, I am insanely happy that we even got that close, right? So my goal this year is my beginner goal is 6,000 members, and my top range goal is 10,000. I would hope to be anywhere over about 7,000 to 8,000. And I truly do believe that with the strategies that we've put in place, with all the process that I go through with marketing, and with taking the time to make videos like this, making videos on our TikTok, getting better at trading, posting our trades, reaching out to people, trying to help them, we will get there, right? And so those are the things you have to ask yourself, because you're not going to be able to get there if you just say, oh, I want to be profitable. Well, cool. That's step one. But step two is, how are you going to do that? You're not just going to, be profitable, right? So that's all I have. I'm gonna keep rambling here. I'm gonna cut this video off here. Thank you guys for checking in with the Discord and with our boot camp. Once again, we are going to do that group coaching, and that is going to be a big thing for our community. I really do hope that we can have you guys in our group coaching sessions. We're gonna have once again group coaching sessions talking about the courses that we already have. We've already drawn out, and then we're also gonna be doing courses live on those group coaching sessions so that we can revert back, take a look at trade breakdowns, recaps, examples. I'm going to teach you guys all my strategies. X, Y, and Z will be covered in that boot camp and course in general. So thank you guys for tuning in. I know this wasn't exactly the best video that I've ever made, but I do thank you guys for staying until the end. If you guys did make it here, if you guys do comment, if you guys comment 1%, no, if you comment, I am profitable down below. I am profitable. 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 Comment that down below. Send me a screenshot on Discord of you commenting that, of your, account, sending that comment, and I will send you guys a special little surprise. I really do thank you guys for stopping in. I know that this has been a long video, and I thank you guys for taking time out of your day to listen to me talk about absolutely nothing, but I hope that you guys were able to get something from my absolute nothingness. So that is all I have from me. Thank you guys once again. I really can't explain how thankful I am for you guys. So that's all I have. I really do appreciate it, and I will catch y'all later.